in our last session, Calixto, Tarlin, Jesse, and Aethelfled reached their next leg of their journey on their way to the city of Vogler, home of the Kingfisher Festival and where Ispin Greenshield is meant to be buried. After hours of travel down the Vengard River, you disembark during the sun's final hour. Each of you examine a strange statue of a knight encased in what appears to be magical stone and decide to travel as far as the sun will allow and strategically set up camp down the road. Aethelfled sets off on her own to scout the terrain with her steel companion. Before settling down for the night, you find a small precipice that allows you to overlook the trail you were just on. But more curiously, you notice smoke in the distance. Calixto prepares incognito sleeping arrangements for the party. As Tarlin makes his sciencey nerdy witchcraft water, Jesse reaches into his pouch and finds a small stone that glows when pointed in a certain direction. While Calixto observes Tarlin's antics, Jesse sets down a newly discovered path leading into the woods. Doing so causes his gray stone to glow slightly more. It doesn't take long for the party to realize that the Kinder is missing, as most parties find out eventually, and they set off to find him, as most parties do. Coincidentally, or perhaps not so, Jesse demonstrates the rock to his new companions once they approach him, and right then Aethelfled stumbles upon the party. Upon examining the rock, Tarlin has a vision of dead bodies and a skeletal knight on a steed. Meanwhile, while he doesn't feel or see the things that Tarlin is feeling and seeing, he does experience this strange sense of calm that washes over him as if somebody is reading him a bedtime story. That's when the adventurers set off down the path to a destination unknown. And after a bit of travel, the party arrives at the crumbling ruins of a temple dedicated to the gods of good, home to a giant tree that extends to the ceiling and various crumbling statues. Calixto struggles to climb up the trunk when Jesse bellows the words of encouragement, "Get it, girl." And suddenly Calixto found the motivation he needed and climbs up that tree. Meanwhile, Aethelfled is harvesting the marble. Perhaps it was just a break from the Kinder that Calixto needed, but those words of encouragement was exactly what he needed. Upon searching and exploring the ceiling, Calixto finds a short sword that makes him feel a strange sense of ease, just as Jesse had, as well as a signet ring on the remains of a long-dead knight. Upon returning down the trunk, a white threshold appears and a wizard walks out surrounded by smoke. He introduces himself as Parsalian, master of the conclave of mages who reside in the Tower of High Sorcery. He is the highest-ranking wizard in all of Ansalon. He offers condolences to Jesse and tried to extract information about a terrible disaster that befell Jesse's homeland of Kindermore. After that didn't work, he notices magical potential in Tarlin and asks that the entire party attend the test of magedom and help Tarlin in his goal to become a mage of high sorcery. Now, after pointing out his rudeness by Aethelfled, Parsalian gifts the party with items of magical power to bribe them, but also assist them on their journey. Within the test, Aethelfled unlocks a greatly gilded chest. Within the chest were 2 lies and 1 truth, aka 2 cursed items, and 1 staff that inevitably proved to be quite useful. And thanks to cunning and guile, Tarlin was able to discern which item was the one to be used in the test. Tarlin finds that inscription of magical words carved into the staff and reads them to activate the staff. Meanwhile, Aethelfled unlocks the door leading into the next room. The party finds themselves in a room illuminated with the staff of magic that allows them to see an ever-shifting maze that circles around the room. If you hadn't used that staff, you would not be able to see that maze, but because you are with somebody who is a magical adept, you are now able to see this maze and traverse it. As the party is making their way to the center where a scroll lies that hopefully will unlock the door across the room, that's when Aethelfled notices just a strange flicker. It's a little weird. She can't quite understand why. And then as all of you approach, she's able to discern that there is a gelatinous mass that sits in the center of this room that is encasing this scroll that sits on a pedestal. And that is where we begin tonight. So your rulers are live. You can use those. I believe everyone is about 20 to 25 feet away from this giant cube that sits in the middle of the room. Light is now hitting it, and since you have seen it, Aethelflaed, I'm sure you pointed out this jelly to the rest of the party. Is that right?
Yeah, just kind of like, oi, I think something's wrong up there, and then point.
And at this point, because it's pointed out to all of you, you can see that there is some sort of shifting mass, roughly the shape of a cube. It's sort of a jelly-like, viscous, damn near clear sort of substance. And it almost looks like you could just walk right through it. But something tells you that this is another test.
Have we ever seen one of these before?
Roll Arcana or History.
Can I also roll?
I don't know about history. How about survival and Arcana? That seems
okay
to me.
Nope. What is that thing?
Not bad.
Oh, I guess I gotta roll for Jesse.
Alright, thank you.
Okay, Arcana's not great. Survival. We'll do survival. Oh, okay. So, Aethelflaed, you notice it. Nobody else quite notices what this is, but after you point it out to Tarlin and Jesse. Now, Jesse, you have heard stories about strange gelatinous creatures that will absorb you and devour you if you get too close. Harlan, you know that this is affectionately called a gelatinous cube by most adventurers and those who are more initiated. You do know that it is quite deadly and that you shouldn't go into the gelatinous cube. That would probably be the extent of what you guys would know.
Mm.
You know that it's
and I make sure to share that with everybody else.
Okay. Jesse, so while you don't fully understand what this is, you've certainly heard a lot of stories about it. This is the first time you've seen one of these things, and it is perplexing to you. You notice that it would be the strangest experience if you just walked right into it, but you also know it could be dangerous.
Is there only one way to get to this thing and like one way out?
Correct. Yeah, in the middle of the room, there is a pedestal. You were able to see the scroll that sits atop the pedestal quite clearly until you notice that there is the light just shifts ever so slightly, and you see a little dust mite, and you can tell that it almost looks like water, but it's not quite.
Can I try to use my mage hands to like pull it out of the cube?
You may.
Okay. I would like to do that, please.
Okay.
Look up the exact word.
Does a mage hand have HP?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So, Aethelflaed, you summon this spectral hand that has gotten you through some pickles so far. And as you attempt to solve one more problem with the same solution, you do notice that as that hand works its way into this space...
Actually, it does not.
Oh, never mind.
I'm mistaken.
So you notice that it works. As your spectral hand reaches in, you can see this viscous sort of material kind of warp and wrap its way around the spectral hand. And It is able to retrieve this scroll. Would you like to pull it out?
Yeah, pull it out, please, and just like bring it all the way over here.
Okay.
Like shake it off a bit, before like handing it to us.
So you are able to retrieve the scroll. And as the hand makes its way out, you can see the gelatinous cube, this strange little space, begins to move. It extends outwards, grabs the hand, and pulls it back in. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Ooh.
Got some battle music. Okay. Oh man, I gotta get my initiative thing going. We're figuring it out. There should be an initiative pop-up, right?
Yeah, what you're probably looking for is going to be on the upper left-hand corner, and it's going to have a clock.
Oh, there we go. Turn order. Is everyone able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. And then if I need to add something to this.
I think there's buttons for you to do that if you click it, but I could be wrong. No, I think you can like right-click it or something.
Maybe I can just... Maybe I gotta like drag it in there. I feel like they've changed the AI a little bit since I last used these.
Yeah, they've messed with it a bit.
Oh my. Okay, give me one sec. It's not letting me use dragon on there. That's okay, I'll just remember. So, the cube has rolled a 14 plus 3. Cube is first to act. Okay. So, the cube is going to extend its body outwards and work its way towards the party. It's going to make it just this far. It's slow moving. So you notice that as it hits the walls of the maze, it slowly conforms to them, almost as if it were water. It doesn't quite reach the ceiling, but it is quite close to the ceiling. And that is going to be the end of its turn. Tarlin, you're up next.
What happens when we touch the walls? Like when it touches the
All
walls?
right.
Nothing happens. So you've probably experimented safely before entering the maze, and it feels like just a wall. It's a glowing orange mass. It does extend all the way to the ceiling, and it is ever shifting. But as you reach out a hand or poke it with a stick, it is basically just mass.
Okay.
And so as the cube enters it, it kind of and slowly slurps its way towards you while conforming to the wall.
Alrighty. So I believe first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna Ray of Frost.
Ooh, okay.
That's an 8. I really would like to I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Sure.
So that's a D10, right?
Is this to hit?
Yes.
You succeed.
Okay.
So I won't make you waste that inspiration. You do cast your ray of frost. Do you do anything cool as you do it?
I reach my hand out and I'm just willing this thing to move slower as I just that's all I can think about, and I don't want to be engulfed. I don't want any of us to be engulfed. It'd be a horrible fate. There's
Yeah, so that's really smart of you. So Tarlin, you do recognize that there doesn't seem to be much danger so far outside of this cube. But we'll say that the hand, while it is not disintegrating fully, you can tell that there's something happening to it, and it doesn't seem like it would be a good idea for this cube to be near you, or certainly for you to be within it. And clearly you've seen behavior from this cube where it wants things inside of it. So you quick-witted, smartly decide to slow it down. You are successful. Anything else you want to do with your turn?
yes. I'm gonna tell everyone that we need to move backwards. Make sure we don't, and not to touch this thing. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. I'm gonna move back here and try and wait for the others to pass. Let's see. That's my. I don't think I have a bonus. Oh shit. I forgot to cast my mage armor on myself.
We'll say retroactively you did.
Okay.
You're in a
Okay.
crazy mage test. We'll say you're.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
mind it.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. But then, yeah, that's it. Then I'm gonna move back there, and then
Eighth
that's it.
Discover of this strange mass. What would you like to do?
Okay. Great.
Well, definitely gonna do some things. Hold on, where's the snap?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm gonna agree with the sentiment of moving back.
Okay.
Damn, hold on. But before that, just because I don't want to hurt anyone, I'm gonna move right here, and then I'm going to cast Tasha's Caustic Brew, or what is it called? Hold on.
Tasha's Caustic Brew.
Yep.
Tasha's Caustic Brew.
Yep, that one.
Your brew.
Oh yeah, Tasha's Caustic Brew. It's a 30-foot line, concentration for a minute, and it's 5 feet wide. So I'm just gonna make it go like just this direction, I guess, in front of me. And it is a dex saving throw or be covered in acid.
I can tell you right now, it will fail that dex saving throw. Let's just say you pull it off.
Okay, well then it is covered in acid and takes 2d4 acid damage at the start of each of its turn. And this spell is a concentration for up to a minute.
Nice, okay. So go ahead and roll with that. It's the start of its turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I do feel like, and maybe we can homebrew this, there should be instantaneous damage.
Like it getting hit by it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're throwing acid at it. So, I mean, even if it's not in the mechanics, I think that makes sense. So if you want to go ahead and roll some damage, by all means.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
that
from
makes
her-
perfect sense.
From her pouch, she just pulls out this little little tiny cauldron looking thing and just hurls it at it like a grenade.
Okay.
2d4 acid. Okay.
And then, Eddie, that's your 4 cold damage?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot. I forgot that that's how the spell buttons work on this one. Like, if I actually hit, then I click the Ray of Frost button to do my damage.
I'm right there with you, man. I gotta relearn roll 20.
Yeah, man.
And then, we're all just gonna move back. So I'm gonna tell my thing to move out of the. Or tell my robot to move back too a little bit. Okay. Steel
Does your
defender.
defender get an action with your initiative? Does your defender get an action that mirrors your initiative? Is that how that works?
It goes right after me, but I
Okay.
think I have to bonus action to tell it to do something.
Oh, okay. Do you want
But
to do that?
I'm just gonna have it move back so far with us, move back and just stay with the group.
Okay, that
And
works.
kind of stay up front, yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, just move back with the rest of my movement.
Okay. So it didn't sort it properly. Jesse, you were actually first to act, but that's okay. We'll just say that your childlike wonder, you're just examining it for an extra second, and it took you a little longer to act than usual. So you could attack it with your short sword, your short bow. You could taunt it. I would say yes, you could short bow, you could short sword, or you could taunt it, or you can do anything else that you can think of that you can do within one action or one bonus action. So the way it works is you get things that are designated as costing one action. You have things that are designated as costing a bonus action, and then you can also move in one turn of action or one turn of combat.
Okay, gotcha. Well, while everybody was doing that, what I'm maybe somewhat mesmerized by it also, but I'm also trying to remember back to the stories that I've heard about creatures like this. Is there anything? Do I remember any stories about this? Are there any hints of what kind of creature this is? Where it comes from? How it behaves? What its characteristics are that I'm aware of coming into this, or that I might have some remembrances of.
You did roll a 17 for your survival check, so that was pretty good. You've certainly heard of these types of things before, these weird, viscous, jelly-like structures that can engulf people. You've heard legend, and up until now, you weren't even sure if they existed, but man, you sure did hope you would see one day. And while maybe it wasn't a dream, it was certainly oh man, that'd be cool. You've heard that people use these to clean dungeons. Not very helpful in combat, but what you've heard is that they will clean the surrounding areas and absorb anything nearby.
Can I ask, do I know, is this a story that I heard from somebody in particular, or is this sort of a common kind of legend? Or
You've heard of your travels?
Yeah.
Perhaps from another kender, perhaps from an adventurer.
Okay.
Nobody.
This isn't specific kinder knowledge, but this is sort of lore that I'm familiar with.
Some people have heard about them.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any idea if this is a creature that you said cleans dungeons?
Yes.
Is this a creature that lives of its own volition, or is there any part of the legend that mentions whether it's a free creature, or why? I'm confused as to why anybody would clean dungeons for fun. Maybe it eats the filth out of dungeons. Is that part of the story that I know?
You could certainly spend your action asking your party members. So one action is 6 seconds. You could ask your party members if they've heard of this and if they know that. Or you could ask the cube itself.
Curious.
Would it cost a turn to do that?
No.
Environmental?
No, I mean, it would. The moral of the story is it will take some time and kind of. I mean, 6 seconds ain't long, So
to do what? To learn more about the cube is what you're saying?
if you can think of a way to learn more about the cube, you are certainly welcome to try to use some sort of action, bonus action, or environmental action that would make sense within a 6-second span.
That's quite all right. I was just trying to figure out what background I already had.
That'd be the extent of your knowledge.
Good.
But those are questions that go through both Jared Allison's mind and Jesse's mind simultaneously.
Sure. Exactly. Yeah. I wanted to clarify where my what my knowledge state is.
Yeah. So if you can think of anything that you can do in 6 seconds that isn't attack it, you're welcome to do that.
I'm curious, guys, as to whether I guess we're in a fight now. I'm curious as to whether this is something that we fight or befriend, or neither. But if we're fighting, I guess we're fighting.
You certainly don't have to fight it. You could do something else with your 6 seconds, but
sure. I'm also not sure what kind of fighting is gonna hurt a gelatinous blob. So
sure,
there's that.
You've seen acid be sprayed at it. You've seen one of your friends shoot a ray of frost at it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen 2 very cool specialty attacks. If you wanted to interact with it, you could certainly try to. If you wanted to interact with your party, you could certainly do that. You could move backwards. You could try a variety of things. You don't have much in the way of gear other than that would be useful, other than your short sword and your short bow.
Yeah, shooting stuff at it or trying to cut it doesn't seem particularly helpful at this point. Well, I'll tell you this. Actually, I think I will. My hope is that somebody in the party has another piece of this legend that sheds light on this to me. So maybe I can ask around the party and see if anybody has a deeper knowledge of this, has experienced this before. I've never seen one before, but I'm obviously very curious. Maybe somebody else in the party has some experience or has heard stories about this creature that shed some light on what its characteristics are.
What can you say within 6 seconds to ask that question? And we can be a little flexible with the time.
Yeah, got you. I guess, and my apologies for not knowing how this goes. At the end of the day, do we? If I ask this question, do we roll some stuff and we may or may not get better information?
I believe that it would most likely come down to roleplay, unless one of the PCs. Everyone's already rolled to see what is known about this.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay,
good deal. Didn't share anything.
And I did share everything that I knew about it before it started advancing on us.
Good deal. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know everything there is to know, which is not much.
It's mindless. It's it basically just eats things.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's it's just trying to eat us right now. So
gotcha. The magic hand got sucked back in, but with the scroll, or the scroll did not?
The hand is still clutching the scroll, but it has been pulled into the space
reabsorbed.
of the cube. Yeah, neither
Yeah,
the
okay.
end nor the scroll are
Gotcha.
moving at this point. They're both just kind of nestled within this space.
All right. I have to scooch a little closer and see what it feels like.
You're gonna feel the cube.
I gotta get close enough to see what it feels like.
Hell yeah, brother. Go get it.
Okay. So, tell me how you approach this cube.
Gingerly and in a non-threatening way. I'm curious and somewhat of a state of awe, maybe more even than I realize. And I'm approaching slowly, as if you were trying to pet a horse on the nose.
Do you give it a little boop?
No, to touch it on the whisker. Just
Okay.
to see, it's. I'm not sure how it's going to react, and it may flee from me in the first place. So I'm being gentle and slow and cautious to see if I can coax it to me.
Do you touch the cube?
Yeah, I got to.
You do?
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
It's gonna
Yes.
eat you.
Okay. Welcome to the party, Kinder. So,
Perfect RP.
do me. Speaking of RP, do me a favor, guys. Out of combat, could you describe how you feel, each of you, as you see this Kinder slowly walk towards the thing that you're pretty positive is about to try to kill you, and then stretch out a hand and try to touch the cube? We can say that no contact has been made yet.
Probably something along the lines of like, "What the bloody fuck? Like, what a dumbass."
Don't touch it. Just
Ridiculousness.
Okay. I would allow any of you to potentially try to warn very, very quickly the Kinder before this action happens.
Can I like, as a reaction, just try to send my Steel Guardian after him to like yank him away?
Do you move your Steel Defender as a bonus action?
I guess it gets his turn after me, so it's already over.
Can we warn him like right as he's about to touch it, maybe?
You could say something quickly like no or stop.
Oh,
I'll just say, wait!
Anyone else?
you idiot!
Everybody's shouting after Jesse.
Jesse, do you care? Do you care?
I pause thoughtfully, and my question to the party is: do you have any better ideas?
Then getting eaten? Yeah, running away.
Obviously, we kill it.
Where are we going to run away to?
Back the way we came.
Is this thing not already crawling all over the walls of the maze?
And I'll say this real quick, guys. So this thing is so sluggish right now, just out of character, little meta. Its movement speed is 15 naturally. It's now down to 5. So we can be a little flexible here with the timing. So if you guys want to have a quick RP moment about this, I'm totally okay with it, and we'll lead off with Jesse's action after this, just for the sake of fun.
Okay, yeah.
We need that scroll. There's no running away. We're just going to kill it. Look at it.
Don't touch it with your hand or your weapons. Just back away, and we can take care of it from a distance.
Are we just? I mean, are we leaving or are we fighting? What's like
fighting.
I say? What do you have planned for this thing, man?
We're killing it. We've just what we've just
We
been
need the
saying. We're
scroll.
killing it.
So
How are we gonna kill it?
With
We're
magic.
doing it. We're doing it now.
All right.
We've already done
Okay.
it.
We could maybe try using one of these torches on the wall. See if it reacts to fire.
Or
Fair enough. Well, yeah. All right. Well, I'm not sure
You
that
could-
I'm gonna let you guys do what you need. So Jesse backs away cautiously, but only for the sake of letting everyone do what they do. I'm a little dismayed that I don't get to meet this thing, but I'm gonna let you guys take a swing at it, see what happens.
well, friend, there is nothing to meet. It will only eat you, and that is it.
Huh?
You want fries?
So Jesse, we'll just say that as this was happening, this cube is inching ever so slightly towards you. You currently are not within its range, but you are pretty close. You got really close to it before everyone.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you.
no, I got really. I pulled back reluctantly. I haven't rejoined the party as yet, but I have made a little space with this thing.
You can certainly still attack it if you would like.
All I can think of is like slicing at it, and that's not anything I feel like doing. So no, I'm a little hesitant. I'm not swinging on this thing this round.
All right.
I tried to approach it. Everyone said no. That's my 6 seconds. So I'm stepping back a little bit to see what happens next. I still don't know how to kill this thing.
While in theory we've accomplished nothing, we did have fun. So that's what matters. And
Yeah,
that was
there
a
you go.
great character building moment where everyone gets to see what a true Kender is like. Okay, great. Then
Right.
people move on to Calixto.
Okay, so seeing Jesse sort of be curious but not really know what to do about this.
So good. Mommy's back.
And after Tarlin's like, well, there's not really anything to meet. To sort of demonstrate this, I'll sort of step forward and say, look, it's mindless. And I'll step to about here. And then I am going to use a chain that I have, a weight and chain. And I'm going to attack this thing. But all I'm really doing is I'm sort of lashing like a small piece of it, like maybe near the bottom corner of it, just to kind of demonstrate that like we can sort of cut away pieces of it. But does it react, or does it show any pain, or does it recoil, anything like that?
I would say at this point it's probably not inching towards you so much, but it definitely, maybe, not from a mechanic sense, but it's still moving towards you guys.
Mhm.
And
Has Calixto actually sliced a piece off of it, or is he just like poking it?
So I think of it as like jello. So since I'm using what's essentially like a whip, I'm kind of just lashing a cleave into the
Okay,
near the bottom of it.
gotcha. But it's all still one whole piece. I'm just curious about what might be the nature of this thing if it gets cut into pieces.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know.
The kid in the pieces, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, you did what you did. You lashed at it, but you didn't cut a piece off of it. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, I just sort of cleaved it, and I say, like, look, it's just a mindless, caustic substance, and I just kind of slice it with this whip, and then I will step away, and I will back off.
it's a good chunk of damage. So, Calixto, as you strike it with your...
Matthew, I can't hear you.
Can you hear anyone?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Oh shit, you guys!
Yeah.
I can't hear anyone. Hold on,
Oh,
what's
no.
going on?
Okay.
Let me get my speaker pulled up. I hear you a little bit right now. Let me just get my speaker pulled up so I can hear you better. The volume for whatever reason on this Discord thing is fucking so quiet.
So, you notice like little bubble, and that's it.
Okay.
But I will say, when you swiped at it, part of the chain was submerged ever so slightly,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see like some green on the end of your chain.
Ooh. Like, it's still on there?
Just a little bit, yeah. Just the tiniest little bit on the end.
Gross. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I really want to do. I was mostly demonstrating that for Jesse, doing a little bit of damage and then backing off.
Okay, great. Top of the round. Let's roll initiative again.
Did that result in a little bit of green slime? Is that what happened?
Yeah, there was a little bit of slime that hit the ground. There was a little bit of slime on his chain. There is no response to the cube, which is now still heading towards you guys ever so slowly, although mechanically it hasn't really technically moved.
Okay.
All right, top of the round. Okay, so 5 from Tarlin, 5 from Jesse. Good one from Calixto. Is that a new roll, Tosh, or is that the same roll?
That is a new roll.
Okay. So how close are you guys to this cube at this point?
Not very.
Yeah, so you pulled back. Jesse, you pulled back as well, correct?
I actually declined to pull completely back. I did pull back, but I didn't rejoin the group.
Also,
Okay,
I can move my defender, but it would be back by me.
okay. So Calixto, you are first.
Okay. This time I will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this time I will lash, or I will attack with the intention of maybe just like slicing off, maybe following up my first lash and cutting off a little piece for observation.
It's good damage.
12 hit.
12 definitely hits.
Okay, then yeah, I do that, and then I will boop, boop, step back again.
Okay. So it doesn't respond. Just as when you swung that chain, just a little bit falls onto the ground. No big deal. The next to act is the cube. The cube will move 5 feet towards you guys. It doesn't do anything else. Up next, we've got April Flip.
It takes that much damage to acid damage.
Oh, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, great. So, by all means, what would you like to do?
Wait, who is next?
You.
Oh, shit. Ethelfled is going to move 10 feet up, and she has, like, this hammer that kind of just, like, sits in a loop at her hip. And there, I have a Artificer Infusion for returning weapon. So it just lets me, it's gonna essentially, like, it just disappears, and then, like, kind of reappears in her hand.
Cool.
So
Okay.
it throws, hits, and then, like, disappears, essentially.
I love that. Okay.
So she is going to throw her hammer at the thing.
Roll to hit.
Okay, let's see. 1 second.
Slash damage.
Well, I guess bludgeoning damage. Here, where's the... There it is. Hold on, I'm sorry. I guess I'll just roll it in the bar real quick.
It's okay. I can tell you right now, you're probably your mod alone could probably almost land a hit.
Eeh. It's 9 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
Okay.
Roll that beautiful beam damage.
Okay. This is bludgeoning damage.
For bludgeoning. Okay. Anything you want to do with your bonus action?
I'm gonna tell my steel defender to just like post up and like defend essentially.
Okay. So as you sling this hammer at it, there is a pretty brutal impact that causes some of the jelly to kind of spray onto the walls. As the hammer is about to disappear, it is lodged within this cube and kind of floats for just a second, and then I guess it would evaporate. Is that how it disappears? The returning.
Yeah, kind of like when things disappear in video games, or like just kind of like pops into confetti or something. Like it just like shimmers away and then like reappears magically in like fucking magical powder or something at our hands.
It's canon. I love it. Okay, great. So it's kind of lodged for a second and then kind of shimmers and then it returns back to you. And if that's all for you, Tarlin, it's up for you. You're up. Somebody go. Tarlin.
Alrighty, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to shoot another ray of frost out.
Are you like
Is an 11.
slowing this thing, or are you actually shooting magic?
It's like shooting magic. I'm actually shooting magic.
Yeah, just describe your process through this. Do you say any? And I'm not worried about like components and shit like that. But
yeah,
do you like say any words? Does it come out of your hand? Does it come out of the staff? Where's this ray coming from?
I'm using this staff that I've been kind of clutching this whole time to just kind of focus out of it. Like I've been holding it so that we can see this maze, but I'm kind of it's shooting out of the this staff that basically I just found for the maze.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say this. So you conjure this ray that extends from your newly found staff. The ray impacts this jelly, and instead of the first time when it just hit it and you could tell its movement had slowed down, this time you can tell that the cube is beginning to harden, and you can see what was once jiggling is now very stiff and constrained.
Okay.
Anything else?
I kind of mentioned part of if we can keep applying cold, we may be able to freeze this and destroy it.
Okay. Jesse, you're up.
Okay. Okay, so this thing you said has moved 5 feet towards us ish.
Yeah, it's now at a point where your teammates, your party members, your compatriots have all attacked this and have demonstrated to you that this is in fact not something you can truly befriend. You've seen it take damage and it doesn't respond. There's no speaking, there's no thinking.
Sure.
It's just moving towards you guys. And upon Tarlin shooting this blue ray out of his staff, this cube is now a little stiffer than it was. And you can tell that it's growing more and more stiff.
Okay. Is there any? If the whole thing as a substance is all equally stiff, it's not one area where he's shooting it that's stiffening, and the rest of it is doing something else.
Yeah, I'd say it's equally stiff at this point.
Okay. I'm just curious. Okay. Let's see. Well, I mean, if we're all poking at this thing, so if it's moved 5 feet closer, I'd only step back a little bit, which means that it's kind of right up on me, and I'm inclined to. I have a short sword. Is that right?
You have a short sword. It does occur to you that it might be safer to use your short bow. I believe more or less the damage would be the same. I'd have to double check. But that thought does cross your mind that if there is something dangerous that your friends are telling you not to touch, then you might want to use a short bow on it.
I'm already this close, and I have a feeling that it's faster and more efficient to take a hack and jump back.
Okay, so you're gonna take a hack.
I'm drawing the short sword, taking a swing, slicing through it, sort of, as strong a blow as I can, but also in the same motion, being somewhat startled and retreating another few feet at least to keep my same distance that I had, which is a few steps.
Okay, so Jesse, here's what happens.
Okay.
You have seen Tarlin use his cool staff to apply, and you don't really know what it does. Maybe you felt a little gust of wind, almost like a quick little cold front as it blew past you, or maybe you felt nothing. You've seen Calixto hack away at this. You've seen Aethelflid spray acid at it and throw a hammer at it. And Jesse, as it starts to congeal and harden, that's when you make a decision and you decide, you know what, I'm just going to go for this. And you must be the strongest motherfucker on the planet, because as you swing your sword, it hits this cube just right. And as it's hardening, your short sword hacks right through half of it. And you can see right in front of you something that none of these people have done. You've seen magic rays, you've seen acid, returning hammers, cool looking chains, all kinds of really dope looking attacks, but you are the one that hacks through this thing. And it does occur to you guys that you could probably reach in and grab the scroll, or perhaps the mage hand itself would now be free enough to escape. It's really kind of almost like a geode at this point.
I think if Ethelfled sensed at all that she could pull the hand back, she would.
Okay, roll. Let's just say sleight of hand. Let's keep it easy. We'll say that it's going to wiggle out.
Calixto is impressed at this. Good shit.
I will also say that because it is congealing, it's hardened, it's just gonna roll. Actually, we'll say it works. We'll say it works because this thing is frozen stiff. It's barely moving. It's been hacked halfway through, and it's now got this hollow space. And we'll say that even though it was only a 6, it is able to wiggle its way out, and the mage hand is able to return to you and provide you with this roll.
I'm gonna hand the scroll to Tarlin and be like, well, here you go. Read it. What does it say? What does it say?
Darn.
I'll have to do that. I'll have to do that on my. Will I be able to read it real quick?
I mean, I'll say we're out of combat, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right.
This thing can't move.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is cool, though. I mean, there are a lot of ways this encounter could have gone. I mean, you guys could have walked right in and then suddenly a very different experience. The Ray of Frost was a smart move. Not only slowed it down, but I just tacked that on. And you know what, guys? Sometimes you just have to go with the flow and say hit points don't matter. So here we are, guys. We got there. But, you know, it's because of the ingenuity of the team, and we had some cool RP moments, even though it was combat. So I thought that was a successful encounter, and we've learned that the Kinder is dangerous. But that was good RP by Jared. I think Jared played that Kinder perfectly. That's exactly what a Kinder would do. He wouldn't be like, let's just fucking kill this thing. He'd be like, maybe it's a friend. So I think we all did a lovely job. Tarlin, we'll just say for the sake of brevity, you open the scroll. You so it's surprising to you because while you had to go through all these hoops, it's startling to you, and you're not sure exactly why, but you can perfectly read the word in Elven. Well, I guess that's why. We'll say it's in Elven. Everything on the wall is theoretically supposed to be in Elven. So we'll say written in Elven instead of arcane runes. You can read out loud magical words. You don't exactly know what they do, but you are able to discern what the word on the scroll says. And you could speak it out loud.
Yeah, I'm gonna do so.
You do so. Great. So there is a door across from the party. That door you can hear click, and it slings open. And you're more than welcome to walk through.
Yeah.
Nice.
Make our way through the
Let's do
crazy
it.
maze.
Great. Okay. So you guys walk through the door. As you approach the door, you see that it's just dark. Like you can't really see what's in the next room. And you kind of hold a torch up, and you have dark vision, but you can't really see. And then as you walk through, you find yourself. That's not dangerous, so we'll just put you right back here. Put you guys there. Okie doke. So you're back in the disheveled temple that you had reached previously. Parsalion is no longer present, and you are free to do anything you like.
Okay. Is that it then? Is your trial?
Is there not another trial?
I guess we're asking Tarlin because I have
Yeah.
no clue.
Yeah, same.
I mean, we're back here. We're back here, and Parsalion isn't here. That's okay. I'm honestly just as confused as everybody else. I was like, I wasn't.
You can find the old man.
It does occur to all of you, fuck these wizards.
Yeah,
It's kind of exactly what I was thinking as I stepped out of that fucking place.
right. Like,
What is
is this how I'm to be? Is this how things are supposed to go? As as an apprentice, this is bullshit. No.
I guess I
Everyone
would
thinks
you
college
to
is
take
gonna
that
be-
then, sort of regarding your staff.
Oh yeah, I still have the staff. I have that scroll.
I'll say you have those cursed items as well.
Oh yeah, I just have those. I'm just holding on to them. Oh man.
Yeah, nothing happened when you initially touched any of them.
Yeah.
You do have the book that has the cursed word, and then you have a ring that you know is cursed. You feel no ill effects from them. You do have them in your possession, perhaps to study or perhaps to use them creatively later on. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're back here. You've already explored this area. Do you want to move on from this map? Maybe head somewhere else? Or is there anything else you want to do here before we move on?
Let's see, we've kind of already checked everything out here, haven't we? This is just a
We
temple of.
probably go find the old man again, right?
It would probably behoove you to find him at some point.
Yeah.
What
It does occur to you that he's slippery.
what What time
He's
of
a
day is it?
wizard. He's a high level wizard. He's got like dimension door and crap like that.
So this is still morning. I would say it did take a little time, maybe an hour total, during the test. But when you had woken up a little bit early, you arrived here right before sunup. And while you did explore, I would say maybe 2 hours or so, give or take, have passed. So it's still fairly early morning. It's before noon.
Well, I'm famished. Anyone else fancy food?
Yes, I'm getting hungry as well.
Oh yeah, let's see.
Before we talk to that old man again.
Is the old man still here? He's gone.
He is currently gone, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just check. Well, if we're having lunch, let's go sit under the tree and chill.
Okay.
For
yeah,
breakfast, I guess.
I'm down for that.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So as we're
Is there-
chilling under the tree, or eating, who's cooking? Out of curiosity, who's the cook in our group? I can take a crack at it if no one else does.
Well,
I'll be your sous chef.
So if that's the case,
fire.
Calixto, why don't you roll survival?
Okay. I've
At
got some.
advantage.
Got some soldiers' rations here. See if I can toast them or something. Survival.
Nah.
Ooh.
You make some damn good rations.
Holy shit. Okay. Alright, so as I'm sort of preparing this food, I'll sort of regard Jesse, and I say, "You were pretty good back there. Where'd you learn to handle a blade like that?"
Man, I'm just making it up as I go.
Do I believe that?
Is Jesse in fact making it up as he goes?
He wouldn't say if he wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Go
what
ahead
I'm
and
curious about.
yeah, go ahead and roll insight.
Whoop.
That's the shitty part about having the advantage thing on. I would say that Kinders are hard to read, and that's the answer that was given.
Interesting. Very mysterious. Okay. Well then, yeah, I guess I'll dish out this food to everybody.
And we can say, since you rolled so well, maybe you had been saving some seasoning, maybe like some salt and pepper, like a little blend. And you were saving it for a specific moment. Maybe you got some good jerky in there too, you know? So while up to this point, you know, you got on the boat together, you camped out together, you've had maybe a bite or two with each other. Fine, you know, rations. But this is a special occasion because you all just completed this weird adventure, and everyone is well nourished, well fed, and I would assume appreciative of Calixto's gesture.
That was pretty weird. I wonder what that old man got off to. Sure seemed in a hurry to dump us in that strange place.
Well, all I know is I plan on giving him this ring and that book next time we meet.
We never did figure out who turned that soldier to stone, if that's what that was.
It certainly looked like magical stone. Like you could tell it had wrapped its way around the statue in a way that you had never seen before.
We had wondered if a mage could potentially be responsible, but thought it unlikely.
Even I don't know the full extent of some of those in the towers.
Just a thought. I don't have too much experience with their like myself.
I'm sure he'll find us again. He was pretty intent on all this business.
Yes. Pretty impressive what you did back there, Tarlin.
Thank you. All of your help was quite useful in dealing with that gelatinous cube. Just happened to have read about it in my studies.
Charlie, do you have any idea what these relics have to do with? Have you seen anything like this scroll or this ring before?
No, I believe they were part of our test. A part of the test that we just completed. But
Are you used to going through dimensional doors? Because this whole thing is very new to me.
no, no said to me as well.
Does
Okay.
everyone do this test?
Yeah, does that make you a mage now?
Do you feel like a mage?
I certainly don't feel any different.
You look a little more like a mage, by my measure. As Tarlin's like standing there with a staff now.
Yeah, that's true.
And Tarlin would know enough to be aware that if a mage is a full initiative and has been accepted, they would be wearing robes of the color of their choosing. You are not wearing robes. This does appear to be perhaps one step forward in your journey.
Okay.
But you got a staff that shoots blue shit out, so that's cool.
Yeah.
One step at a time, right?
That's
Okay.
true, right?
Do we want to have any more scenes right here? I'm very open to that, or we can go ahead and push forward.
I do have two quick things. First, I'd like to try and climb the tree again to see if I see any smoke near us.
Ooh, I like that.
And then
Okay.
secondly, during our travels, I have a favor to ask of Aethelflood. But that doesn't
Okay.
need to happen like in this scene. Just
It certainly could if you'd like.
Well, I mean, granted that we all just got out of there, I'm not going to necessarily turn around and ask her a favor now, but at some point when we're on the road, I would like to turn to Aethelflood and say, like, say, Aethelflood, you're a bit of a craftsperson, right?
That's right.
Well,
Oh.
I was wondering if I could ask a favor, or perhaps hire your services.
She kind of just cocks an eyebrow, staring at him.
Well, I have this family ring, you see, but it's quite old. It's been passed down for a very long time. And
Is he showing her this or like just describing it?
yeah, so I'll show it to you. I'm wearing it right now. It is a signet ring, but it's like incredibly aged.
Okay, she's probably gonna like grab your hand and like turn it over to like get a better look at the ring as you're talking.
Do you think you'd be able to restore its condition, perhaps? I can like take it off and give it to you.
She takes it and looks it over. She pulls like a little magnifying glass from one of her pouches and just inspects it. She's like, truth be told, making a new one, melting it down and remaking it might be the easiest way, but I can polish it up some and make it a little cleaner if you're wishing to keep it as it is.
How aged is this ring, DM? Is this something
It's
only
so-
Spitshine can fix, or?
It would definitely take work. Now, Aethelflood is quite skilled, so with enough time, it's doable. But it is certainly so old that you think it might predate the Cataclysm, which was 300 years ago. So it's quite crusty. It's caked in rust. The insignia is still quite recognizable, but the ring itself, if you tried to put it on your finger, which maybe you have, you would certainly feel the wear, and you would kind of be concerned about tetanus.
Okay. Okay.
So it occurs to you that in its current state, it's not something that you would brandish or don, but
Gotcha.
with enough time and Aethelflid's assistance, it's certainly doable.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm not wearing the ring, I just sort of produce it from my person. And then I'll tell you, Ethelflood, if you think you could reproduce this insignia, you might be right about it being faster. But if we could, I'd like to make it from this very metal, given its age and significance.
Yeah, I think her intention was to essentially like
Melt it.
push the imprint into wax and like maybe get like a drawing of it and then just melt the entire ring and use its own material to like use the material and kind of just create like like a little like mold for it and just fill it with the melted gold from the ring or whatever it's made of.
Yeah,
I love
I'd
that.
totally be down for that.
Yeah,
That's a
because
really cool plan.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what she would suggest, and she would agree to do that for you.
Okay. I'd be willing to pay you for this, or, you know, return the favor in kind someday. On my honor.
We can work out the details later. For sure. Yeah, I don't know if gold yet, but once she's done, then she'll talk about payment.
Alright, I like this Aethelflood character. Okay, cool. So I will entrust her with the signet ring.
Okay, perfect. Now we'll say that because your friends are around and they can maybe push you up, you're able to make it to the top of this tree. Plus, you know your way around it. You've scaled it before. As you climb to the top, you are able to see the sun. It's not quite. I'd say it's probably what would be roughly 10 a.m., give or take. Maybe 9:30. It's still pretty early. You can tell from the sunlight. You are unable to see any smoke in the distance. You look in the horizon where you had seen it previously. You currently see no smoke. You're cognizant of the direction that it came from, but as of right now, you don't see any smoke.
Which direction did it come from?
Ooh.
Are we going in that direction? Or are we going the opposite way?
So it would be... You're not entirely certain where the original trail would lead you. If you walked back to where your camp was, you would certainly be moving in that direction. And then from the trail, perhaps it would lead to that area, or perhaps you could cut through the woods.
Okay, I sort of narrow my eyes with unease. Okay, and then I will go back down and encourage everybody before we leave, and yeah, I guess that's it. I'm good to go.
So what that information would give you is the fact that before it was right around sundown, when that smoke had previously billowed in the distance, you can assume, given the fact that there's no smoke now, that it was probably used by somebody camping, as opposed to somebody who was perhaps trying to stay warm through a chimney.
Right. It was like a thinner smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Got you.
I'll give you something for it.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. So seeing nothing makes Calixto a little nervous.
Right. Yeah, so you feel like it was probably used on the road. Okay. All right. Anything else we want to do here?
Do we know what kind of tree this is?
Let me roll a survival check for you.
Specifically, does it fruit? Is it currently fruit?
Nature. I'll roll a nature check. Well, I guess either one would apply.
Tis an interesting tree. It's quite an impressive tree.
There's no fruit coming from it.
Okay, just checking.
Is there
So
an acorn in the vicinity?
let's find out. So, roll an investigation check.
Let's go. 16.
We'll say you see a couple of small acorns just hanging out on the ground.
I take both of them.
All right, Jesse, you rolled a 4 on your nature. It's not very good. It does look like a majestic tree. There are a few trees. You're like, maybe it's this tree. Wait, maybe it's this tree. I don't know. And your results are inconclusive. But Kleeksto, you do find a couple of acorns. All right. Anything else we want to do here? And if don't let me don't let me rush you guys. Like, we've all DM'd. We all know part of it is just kind of moving things along. So if I ever go too quickly, just let me know. But it's also part of being a DM, that tightrope of like, we could do more, or we could just move on. So it's up to you guys. Don't feel like I'm rushing here. If there is something you want to do, just let me know.
I'm good.
Same.
Yeah, let's roll.
Darlin, you good?
Sorry, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep myself muted.
That's all good. Are we heading back to camp?
Guess, yeah, let's head back to... Well, it's still early in the day. We should probably start traveling, I guess, right?
We're exploring. Yeah, are we staying in the town or going back?
Well, I almost said park. You camped 15 feet away from the trail. So going back to camp is the same as going back to the trail. You could go to either one. Doesn't really matter. They're both basically in the same spot.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
And it occurs to you, there is that overlook, the little precipice you guys found. You could spy there if you would like to, and maybe something will happen. Or you can go back to the trail and follow that, or you can travel through the woods and try to find the source of that smoke from the previous evening.
Would the precipice offer like a greater altitude than the top of this building/tree?
Ever so slightly. I would say it would probably rise about 10 feet from the ground. So certainly, if somebody traveled down that path, you would be able to, if somebody traveled down, you could, maybe see them, or if nothing else, I guess that'd be the only real benefit. If somebody passed by, you could be very incognito and certainly ambush anyone that came by. Would give you the high ground. But you wouldn't know for sure if anyone would be coming by.
The safest thing to do, and this is me just thinking out loud to players and probably also in character, is like, I'm just trying to get to my friend's, to visit my friend who is apparently dead.
That'd be a short visit.
As this gentleman tells me, gesturing to Tarlin. It's probably safest just to, get out of here, right?
Yeah, and travel in a group.
Yeah, especially if we found blood splattered on leaves in a night seemingly turned to stone, which was alarming and highly unusual.
I'm all for leaving this place.
You've seen a lot of weird shit. So heading back to the trail.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting back to heading towards town myself. But I was curious, real quick. That was a separate direction to where the campfire smoke that we noticed is. Is that true?
It certainly didn't. From what you can tell of this trail, it doesn't appear like it's not going directly towards it. Like it's certainly in the woods, but it is possible. We've done a lot of traveling in forests, and it occurs to you that there's a good possibility that It could wind around and take you to where that source was. And B, it's unlikely that people would be traveling through the woods, although it is a possibility. And perhaps might be built a fire in a more wooded area. But it does occur to you that there's a distinct possibility that if you follow that trail, you will find the source, but there's no guarantee.
Well, guys, I say let's head towards town.
Agreed.
Okay. Now, are you going to follow the trail, or are you going to try to cut through the woods to get to the source of the smoke?
The trail would be faster,
Yeah.
right?
I'm going to town. I'm not. I'm curious about the smoke and the source of it, but what I'm gathering is that perhaps there's somebody that was out camping last night, the same as we were, and we may or may not run into him if we head towards town. But I, personally, for my own sake, am curious to head towards town, and I'm not sure if there's any sense in getting sidetracked from that. Y'all
Great.
tell me what you're interested.
Okay. Let's take a real quick break, maybe 5 or 10. We'll come back and we'll see what's down that trail. Sound good?
Yeah.
Sure. Sounds good.
Hell yeah.
I'll just put you guys on a little map. Well, I'm here. Is everyone here?
Here.
I'm here, and I'm queer, and I'm used to it.
Nice. Okay, we're all here. Okay, great. So you've just done this very confusing thing for a kind of asshole wizard. You had heard stories about wizards and
What it is?
was that?
Oh, nothing. We're talking about Savannah.
Okay. So you've heard stories before about how wizards were kind of aloof and sort of fickle, a little self-serving. And you've kind of seen it in action. That guy, if he's like the head of their conclave, that guy was kind of a dick. He put you in this weird situation, you got yourselves out of it, but maybe you didn't get a whole lot from that experience. But I think you were a more gelled team because of it. And I think probably your characters would feel that way as well. You've been traveling for, I would say, about 3 or 4 hours. It's probably around 2 p.m., let's say that. And as you're walking, nothing eventful happens. You're all keeping your eyes out, and you're ever on the watch for danger. And then you hear this sound in the distance.
Ears perk up. Definitely turns to look at the noise.
And you can tell that if you just went north just slightly off this trail, then you'd be able to find the source of it.
Are we near the town?
You don't believe so.
I'm gonna narrow my eyes at this and sort of drop to a stealthy position.
Should we take a gander?
And nod.
I don't see the harm in going in looking.
Let's be careful though.
Unless it happens to be a cube again, but I think the chances of that are very small.
We still don't know
And
what's
they're
out there.
just kind of.
So we'll say that y'all are very cautious and you go northwards up this trail. And you kind of spy, once you get to a little clearing, a house. And you see in front of it a little dwarven man. Oh, my map got weird. Hold on.
Weird little dwarven man.
Okay. So you see in front of you a little house. It's not a big place. It's very unassuming. There are a couple of trees that have been cut down to clear some space out. You see a dwarf wearing some very unusual garb. He is hammering away at one of his axes on an anvil. And I'll show you what this gentleman looks like. Just need to find the fucking handout. So, can everyone see the handout?
Yes.
Yes.
This is the man you see. He's a dwarf, normal stature for a dwarf. His clothing is strange. He has this red belt just kind of wrapped around, probably not doing much to keep his pants up. He's wearing a funny little vest. It's not quite cheetah print, but it does remind you of cheetah print. And his sleeve reminds you of the canvas of like a circus. And he's just hammering away at this axe of his, sharpening it up, making it.
What does the axe look like? What's his work there? What's he doing?
From what you can tell, he's just working on an axe, just making it sharper and maybe more sturdy. Perhaps he's crafting it from scratch, or maybe this is a project of his.
Y'all should
Maybe.
have a smith off. That'd be cool.
Challenge accepted.
Right.
I think her curiosity might get the better of her. She's gonna turn and look at the party and be like, "You wouldn't mind, right? If I never had a quick look."
No, could be helpful.
All right, and then she's gonna stand up and just casually make her way over to the door, kind of just waving as she approaches. Hello there.
Oh, what brings you to my humble little cottage, young lady?
I could hear you tinkering away from way over there, and I thought I'd pop in and take a look. Do a little bit of smithing myself, you see.
Oh, you don't say. Well, I happen to be a little bit of an amateur, but I do know a thing or two.
Yeah, what's that you're working on?
Oh, this is Sophia. This is my little axe. I crafted it myself so I can chop down more of these trees.
May I? And she's gonna extend her hand.
Please do. And he hands you an axe. Could you roll me something that makes sense in this situation? Hold on. Let's see what you got here.
Like,
Investigation.
investigation, okay.
Perfect. It's an intelligence roll. You're good at it.
A +6 to this. I hope it does good.
Okay. So as you examine, you're kind of checking out the crevices, the facets, the metalwork. You're seeing how it all comes together. Even the hilt itself, the handle, I guess, it is the finest craftsmanship you've ever seen, and it doesn't come close to anything else. It looks incredibly sharp, well polished, well maintained, and this fascinates you.
Your work is stunning. Yeah, so then his work's probably like 10 times better than hers, so she's just like kind of awe. I guess like similar to like a starstruck, or just like, I gotta learn the secrets. I gotta have him show me stuff.
Is your Steel Defender around?
Probably, because I don't think she's put him away since we've had that encounter.
Well, I've shown you mine. Let me please examine your friend here.
I guess he's kind of a friend, yeah.
Does it have a name?
No, not yet. Just call it most of the time. Oh, come here. She just commands it to like walk forward.
And the dwarf examines this craftsmanship. He's really he pulls out like a little jeweler's eyeglass, and he's like looking at the screws. He's kind of twisting it around. Oh, this is fine work, fine work. Nothing quite like a dwarf, mind you, but for someone of your nature, this is the finest I've ever seen from a half-elf.
Yeah. Her cheeks kind of redden. And she's looking at him like, does he mean this in a mean way or in a normal way?
Roll inside.
I was wondering. I was like, is he going to comment on me being a half elf? Shona.
It's like, is he being racial right now?
Okay. Even though it's a 6, we'll say this. You as a blacksmith are well aware of the pride that a dwarf takes in their smithing. And you know that they're a little haughty about it. And they believe that dwarves are the ones who make the best work. And for a split second, you're like, well, after seeing this, maybe. And you're like, no, I do great work too. And you regard it as a compliment. And in your mind, you're understanding that it could be anybody that's not a dwarf, and he would probably say the same thing.
Okay.
We'll say the roll because you are a blacksmith.
Okay. Well,
To him, it's the highest form of.
Thank you. Yes, I find it quite helpful to have another set of hands when I'm building things or moving things or that nature, you know. Being a slight elf and all.
Where did you get these screws from? Then he's still examining the oddity in front of him with his little eyeglass.
And she just kind of like brightens and she's like, oh, funny you should mention it. The idea came to me when I was watching a carriage go round and round. I thought, And then she starts like explaining, I guess, like the science behind the screw and like what I guess that shape does. How it's more efficient than nails, and then how she thought like, I don't know, creating something, powered by like either like runic magic and like, steam could function, and she gets her excited. She's like going into nerd speak.
I quite like this. Please tell me your name. I must know. It would be an honor.
She extends her hand and says, Ethelfled Redstone. And your name?
Dugan Redbeard. Pleased to meet you. He shakes your hand with great fervor. I don't know if you've heard this, but there are rumors out there that make me think that a hammer will come in handy in the near future.
Rumors, you say? Pray tell, what is it?
Why, they could be nothing more than lies. I don't truly believe them myself, but say, are you of the faint of heart?
She kind of scoffs at the comment. No.
And even though your friends are very clearly, where they are, just a little ways up, and he kind of looks around, makes sure nobody's around. He looks behind him, and he gets real close and kind of puts his hand out in a little cone. I hear there are dragons that are returning to this world. But I'm sure it's nothing, just an old wives' tale, an old kinder tale, an old, they're just wyverns, and there's no way, but just be safe. Hone your skills.
Does that seem unlikely? Like, kind of like, yeah.
Roll insight for me.
Okay. Or is it somewhat tangible?
So you can't get a good read on him. You are of the impression that he is telling the truth.
I don't know where such rumors came from, but I suppose I'll bear it in mind.
And so he gets a little solemn. And up to this point, he's been very jovial. He's wearing this goofy vest and this stupid shirt. And he's very lighthearted. He loves your work. And he himself is an amazing craftsman himself. And he gets solemn and kind of looks in the distance and says, I was wondering if I could give you something.
Good God, that took forever. She kind of like furrows her eyebrows and looks at him. What do you mean, give me something?
Well, I'm sure it's not important and it's not necessary, and I have 1,000 of them.
Okay.
But and he takes this hammer that he had been using to craft this incredible weapon, and he picks it up off his anvil. If the rumors are true, you will need this, but promise me you will use it to save lives, not take them.
She takes the offered hammer and eyes it curiously as he's speaking, and when he says the promise part, it like kind of catches her off guard, and she's just like I don't know if I want to promise this to this guy, but I think for all intents and purposes, to the best of her knowledge, she'll try to adhere to his request and use it for saving lives. I shall do the best I can, she says, and then I guess puts it in a little sling somewhere where it just sits nicely on her tool belt. I feel like I should give you something now. Damn. Hold on. Yes, I'm gonna find some screws and a screwdriver and be like, here you are. May this give you inspiration.
Oh, and he lights up. Oh, I can do so many things with this, and he starts tracing his fingers around the screw, and he's just kind of feeling it. Oh, yes, I can build a great many things with these. Tell you, would you like to perhaps learn something? I know that, well, your friends are already looking impatient, and the day is young, but could I show you something very quickly that would perhaps help you and maybe others along the way?
Always got time for the trade.
So he's going to offer you knowledge to amplify. There are 4 different things he's offering you. He can teach you how to sharpen a blade to where the crit range is increased by 1. He can show you how to better armor so that it gets a +1 to AC. This could be existing armor, it could be new armor. He will show you how to increase the damage of a weapon by a 1d6, which is whopping.
Damn.
Or he will teach you how to give a +2 to hit for a weapon.
Whoa. Dang, this is all cool. Oh goodness, I only get one choice, huh?
You only get 1. He can show you pretty quickly, maybe an hour.
Thinking back on my party members, like what am I suited with again? Like, are we a fighting type, melee type of people, or magic people, or?
So Calixto uses rapiers. You could certainly apply any of those effects to a rapier, really any melee weapon, we'll say. He will teach you how to make anything slightly better and slightly deadlier. Jesse is using a short bow and a short sword, if that matters. And then I believe Tarlin is not entirely using any kind of melee weapon.
I've got a staff.
Yeah, maybe a dagger. We'll say you have a dagger. Why not? You're a mage.
Yeah, I got a dagger too. It's in the belt.
And then, of course, I think you're using a big hammer, if memory serves. So basically, you can fortify, or you can make a weapon deadlier.
Or I can add +2 to hit.
+2 to hit's pretty fucking good. D6, pretty fucking good.
Oh wait, did you say it was plus to hit, or are you getting additional?
It's just a hit. Yeah, so it's either a +2 to hit, or a extra D6 of damage, or increase the crit range by 1, which TBH isn't that helpful now. But if you guys, build a certain way, it might be really cool. It's kind of what your flavor is. Or you could make the entire party eventually more survivable. Eventually, it would take time.
I think I'm gonna go with the +2 to hit, just so that we have. Even if it's less damage, we're more likely to hit.
So he
fair to
offers you. I'm sorry. What?
Oh, it just sounds fair to everyone.
Yeah, I think it's great. So he offers you some ale. Maybe you accept, maybe you don't. He does teach you this technique. So it basically takes a weapon and just makes it a little sturdier. It's really more of a grip, honestly. It just kind of enhances the grip to the point where it's just a little bit better to wield and a little bit easier to wield. It does occur to you that nobody has ever taught you anything like this before, so this guy must be a big deal. But he does teach you this technique. I haven't worked out the logistics for how long or what or anything like that, but with enough time, practice, that can be a downtime activity to increase +2 to for any weapon.
Awesome.
Nice.
It's good for everyone, except the bad guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to do with Dugan Redbeard, or do you want to say thanks, head on along your
Well,
way?
yeah, thanks, bid him farewell. If I have like a P.O. box or something, like leave that with him, or just like where you go to sell your work, just so I can like visit him sometime if I need to catch up or whatever.
Will you do me one favor?
What's this?
That one there. And he points to Calixto. What is his name?
Is Calixto.
I would like to
He's not.
speak with him,
Oh?
if
Oh.
he may.
Oh, sure. I guess I'll tell him, and she'll make her way back to the group and
Are we
say
like-
that she's met a dwarf
we're like
and she learned
crouched in the
something and he wants
bushes,
to talk.
right?
Oh, he can't see you guys?
I thought we were. Are we not? We don't have to be.
No, no.
I thought we were.
I mean, you might be crouching in the bushes, but everyone else is not.
Okay, if nobody's I'm not gonna be
I was gonna be like, are you just in the bushes like over
The
here?
one-off, buddy.
Yeah, okay.
That's okay. That's okay. That's actually very funny. Do you want to do that? You're the only one hiding. You've got a Kender who's just kind of hanging out.
No.
This nerd.
No.
Okay.
Because
You could.
I'll be with the group because it's
Yeah, okay.
safest to be with the group. So
He does
okay.
okay.
So Aethelfled comes back, gives us the update, and says he wants to speak with me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to.
Over at the dwarf. What's he?
I got
doing?
nothing. I had nothing but a good encounter with him, so Aethelfled shrugs like,
Very well. Let's see what he has to say. So I will make my way over to the dwarf. And I say, "Pleasant day, my fellow."
Ah, Calixto Carlias. It's a pleasure to meet you. I was wondering, do you perhaps have anything that I could examine? Perhaps, weapons? Or, a helmet. But maybe a weapon.
You wish to examine a weapon of mine? For what purpose, may I ask?
I'm a blacksmith.
Oh, I've got 2 different weapons. I'm so curious to show him.
You can show him all of them if you like.
Well, okay. So, I say this, my favored, a treasured sword of mine, and I sort of draw my rapier, Matute, which has a sort of red streak down the length of the blade. Just something was woven into the metal to make it red.
It surprises you that he doesn't care about that. He's like, oh, yes. It's a fine weapon. I'm sure it will do you quite well.
I also have this, and I draw the sword that made me feel like somebody was reading me a bedtime story. The
May I?
Brightblade sword. Yes.
He takes it. And he looks at it. Roll an insight check, please.
What are you peeping at, man? Or maybe he's not.
It looks like normal age for a dwarf.
Normal-aged man.
Okay. So, you watch him examining this. This brings back many memories.
You knew
And
his
you-
builder.
He's looking at this weapon like it's an old friend. This is the sword of a bright blade. An old bright blade. Yes, it is favored by Kiri Jolith. Do you know of him?
I do not. I'm a distant descendant of the Brightblades.
Roll deception.
Did Aethelflood tell
He did
this
not.
guy my last name or just my first name?
Just your first name.
Just the first name.
Just your first name.
Okay.
And that does occur to you. Oh.
Sweet.
Okay. He kind of looks at you. He's suspicious.
If you don't
You can-
believe me, my companion bears the signet ring passed down through the generations, though it's quite aged at this point. Yet my insignia is still quite recognizable.
He regards you in a way that surprises you. Because you're smooth as silk, he has no reason to not believe you. Now, I would say you were within earshot enough. Like, you were definitely very observant during that whole interaction. And you were kind of like, you were certainly within enough. And he's boisterous. Like, he's not talking, he's like James. It's like, oh, Blade, you know, that kind of shit.
Okay.
So it
was
strikes you as odd that he knows your last name. He's also regarding you suspiciously, and it's almost like he's about to say something, and he stops short. This is from the god Kiri Jolith, the warrior god of good, the Minotaur himself. Tell me, what will you do with this sword if you wield it? I'm sure only good things. And he hands it back to you.
And I say, only good and honorable things, for I must also walk a path of honor.
We must all walk our paths, but many of them will converge on the same field. Please look after these. She especially is very important in the coming days.
Who is he referring to when he says she?
He points.
Oh,
You couldn't see. You couldn't see me. I pointed. Yeah, Aethelflood. Yeah, he points to Aethelflood and says, "Her especially. She will be very important in the coming times. But who am I? Who am I talking about? Kiri Jolith, Wyverns in the sky.
You seem to know something, Dugan. Anything you wish to share with me?
And he kind of stops short, and he thinks for a second.
You You speak cryptically. What is
The
your
only
intention?
the only things I know are the things you will know soon enough. Now, please. And he kind of like shoos you away.
Okay.
Safe travels to all of you. And remember, you bear the boon of a god.
Okay, so as we're sort of walking away, I kind of mumble to the group. That was a strange fellow.
Do you really think there's dragons?
Dragons? He didn't say anything to me about dragons.
What? Yeah, he mentioned there's rumors of dragons coming back to life. Or whatnot.
Ugh.
He said to prepare and hone our skills.
Well, that's quite interesting because I just asked him if he knew about anything and he didn't give me any sort of warning like that.
Although he did mention wyverns in the sky to you. I think he was saying it like in passing though.
Yes, he did seem to take a shine to you at the flood. Said something about you being important in the coming days. You know anything about that?
No, not really. Unless it's, I don't know, developing some sort of, I don't know, weapon or safety feature or some sort of invention. I mean, Rebellion Smith, maybe he just likes me because of that.
Maybe so.
He did give me this hammer. He also taught me something.
Oh, he was way better to you than he was to me.
Yeah, I found that bit a little surprising.
What did he teach you?
Oh, look. And then... Actually, I know my picture has a hammer, but I actually fight with a spear, because I also took the feat polearm master, so that would really
Oh, nice.
not be helpful, yeah.
Okay.
I do have a hammer that I throw, though. So I guess just... Maybe, like, the extended reach or something. I don't know if I can know, but, like, the fact that it's, like, a +2 to hit. Like, goes over the specs, and it's like... And with this technique, and if I apply it to your sword, and if I do this, and this could happen, and... You'll be better at hitting things.
And in game, you would refer to it as just it makes your weapon more accurate.
Yeah.
That
Much
is-
harder to miss after this process.
It's a very impressive technique. That dwarf was preparing us for something.
Yeah. I intend to sharpen all your weapons, but...
Oh, I will definitely take you up on this service.
How does Calixto feel about this dwarf singling him out? He doesn't care about your really cool rapier, but this one sword stands out to him. Does it feel contrived? Does it make you nervous? How do you feel?
I am deeply suspicious of this dwarf. I get the vibe that this dwarf knows something he's not telling us. He's prepping us for danger. And he's told Aethelflood that dragons are coming back. So all of this is making me feel very nervous. And he definitely seemed to know that I wasn't a member of the Brightblade family.
He certainly has suspicions. All right.
Peculiar
Well,
fellow.
you met Dugan Redhammer. Does anyone else have any thoughts about Dugan? You guys didn't really interact with him, but you're hearing all this.
Does his house look fortified?
Not really. Kind of, I mean, it's just wood. He's got... his steps are beautiful. Like they're beautifully crafted. You can tell that this was thought out and well designed, but it's not fortified.
Okay, just wondering.
I thought he was lovely.
Aethelflip, this might occur to you and Calixto, maybe you as well. You find it strange that this dwarf put this weird weight on you, saying that you need to use your hammer that he's just given you for good and to help people. And he did also tell Calixto to keep an eye on Aethelflip and look out for her. So it does seem very strange. It's an odd encounter for sure. But so far, there have only been benefits to this interaction.
Yeah.
So far.
Okay. Do we want to move ahead? I've got one more thing I would like for us to maybe do, if Jared has time for it. It won't take too long.
Dude, I've got 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe.
Okay, great. Okay, so you've encountered Dugan Redbeard, this very strange, oddly dressed dwarf. He has handed Aethelflid his own personal hammer that he was just using and taught her a very useful skill to make weapons more accurate. He has entrusted her with the task of helping people, and he asked Calixto, who he very clearly didn't fully believe was a bright blade, to watch out for Aethelflid. He also said that the weapon that Calixto had found on the roof of the tower, or the Temple of the Gods, belonged to, or was a boon of Kitty Jolith, the good god of war, the god of just war. Very strange encounter, but so far not bad. Now you've been traveling for a while, I would say maybe another hour or two, and then you spot a turn in the path that you're on, and you can see what looks to be the wreckage of a caravan.
Oh.
Okay, so we just see this in the distance, or we like walk up on it like this?
Kind of winds around. As you turn this corner that you're currently at, you do start to see it. Now, obviously, if you spot it, you can do whatever you want from this point. If you want to be sneaky, you can be sneaky. If you want to investigate, you can investigate. You can do whatever you like.
I will scan the tree line as soon as I see an attack has occurred. To sort of scan my surroundings here.
You don't even need a perception check to see this. Next to the caravan, the wreckage of the caravan, I'm sure that's looking like that. You do see what looks to be a dead body.
Shit.
Oh.
I guess. Right? Like, it's right in the middle of the road. We have to, like, slowly approach, right?
Yeah.
Damn it.
With the person that's down, I am. My character is gonna start to approach the downed person.
Would everyone like to approach?
Yeah.
I will keep an eye out while the others investigate.
Okay.
But I will draw my rapier.
I need everyone to roll a perception check.
Did you say perception?
Perception, indeed.
I'm trying. Silly goose. Silly goose.
Hmm.
That's a good one.
Yep.
I can't see shit.
You're supposed to be watching our backs. God.
I know. Looking in the wrong direction.
Oh, okay. Well, Jesse critted. So, Tarlin and Jesse. So, Calixto, you're more watching the trees around you, afraid of an ambush. Let's say that's what's happening, and that's why you're not looking super in front of you. You know that your comrades are looking directly in front. You're more worried about an ambush, so you're more scanning the trees. And so far, you haven't seen anything. Aethelflid, currently you don't see anything. But let's say you guys get to about right here. And as you do, Jesse, you're kind of like peeking around the corner over here. And then Tarlin, you're over here about to check out that body. And you do notice on each side of this 2 hooded figures.
Shit.
So far, they're just kind of standing there.
They don't hear us.
You can't tell. They certainly haven't reacted. You're unable to see their faces, but you do see stillness.
The fuck?
Okay. I am quiet. I quiet down and I point out these hooded figures ahead to the
As you do, everyone looks around.
It's Charles.
You can hear whispering.
Bunch of cultists.
That's creepy. I don't like it.
that's parcel tongues from Harry Potter.
Yes, it is.
Sorry, but that was really good. That was good use of that.
Yeah, I like
You can hear this weird, creepy hissing in a whisper form. And you can see these 5 cloaked figures right here.
Have they noticed us?
Be getting them whispers.
So far, nothing. You've all been really quiet. You've been very sneaky. I wanted to make you roll for it. There's this caravan that you've kind of been blocked by, just as they were as well. And everyone's on guard. Everyone's being careful. So far, they have not reacted.
Ethelflood's like looking at her companions like, guys, what's going on?
I guess I'll sort of gesture to the others to like be stealthy. I don't know, lay low, since they haven't like aggroed to us.
Yeah. I want to.
The cart look like it's a special cart, like someone that's targeted, like a politician. Is it like a merchant cart or just like a normal person cart?
Rolling intelligence check. History.
That's a good question.
Okay.
History check.
Ugh.
Here,
Roll, blue rolls.
let's see if I can help.
You can see one body in front of the caravan. One is kind of to the side of it, covered in debris. Tarlin, as you were approaching, you were able to see an insignia of the Knight of Solamnia.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess anyone else who wants to, you're all right there, you're looking at it. If anyone else wants to roll a history check, but you can tell that it's a Knight of Solamnia. You can see the body clearly, so it's not perception check territory. I mean, it's close enough. You can take a good look, and the insignia on the armor is pretty obvious.
Kind of mutter under my breath, and foul fates are befalling the Knights of Solamnia. This.
Roll a stealth check.
Okay. I'm terrible at those.
I'm like fully decked out in Solamnic armor.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
So you kind of mutter under your breath, and for most people, they wouldn't be able to hear that. But because you rolled a 9, and because these are what they are, you see all 5 hoods snap in your direction. So far, they only see you, Tarly.
Baby, you are just fine.
We may be in a bit of trouble, friends.
Do you say that stealthily?
Yes.
Shouts it to the world.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll get another 9.
Yeah. I didn't get another 9.
That's true.
Okay. So there might have been some information in what you just said, and they certainly heard it. They start approaching.
Shit. And they're all just beelining for like Tarlin.
They are aware that Tarlin has company now. They don't know how many, but he did say friends. So they are approaching quickly. If there's something you guys would like to do on the fly, you're welcome to do it.
I want to arm my bow and go ahead and aim. I'm not firing anything yet.
That's a great plan.
Yeah, I maneuver next to Tarlin and get my defender to be in front. And just get it ready to attack the approaching
Oh shit.
cultists.
I can't move mine here. I will, I guess I'll position myself beside Tarlin as well and get ready for these charging figures who are coming at this dude.
They're not charging, but they're certainly approaching. And one of them says, "Friends, who might you be? I don't see." Oh, wait. What, are you wearing a Knight of Solamnia?
Yes.
Or,
I'm
oh, boy.
I am
Okay.
fully decked out in Solamnic armor.
Yeah, so
Squire,
mid-sentence, it was kind of like, "Friends, I don't see." Oh. That's exactly what he said. And he points towards you, Calixto, and he says, "Let's get him." And
Jesus.
they throw off their capes, their little robes there, and you see some shit you've never seen in your fucking life. They reveal these crazy scaled forms decked out in armor, and one of them leaps on top of the wreckage. He growls at you. His green eyes pierce right through you. There are droplets of blood and drool coming down the mouth of this figure. You see these sinister claws, these terrifying wings, and these motherfuckers are about to strike. And that's where we'll leave off for this week.
Ooh. Damn.
Far out.
I also now see why my explanation for Dragonkin wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. Yep. We'll pick up with this fucking thing whenever we play next, hopefully next Tuesday. Good job, everyone. We definitely covered some ground. Had some good RP moments, some new character moments. Aethelflaed is now a better blacksmith. Calixto, you've seen some very unsettling things from this mysterious dwarf. And you have seen something that basically in this world it would be like if you saw 5 predators or 5 like xenomorphs from Alien. You are seeing literal fucking nightmares in front of you, covered in drool and blood. They have taken off their robes so that their arms are more free and they can be better combatants. And as soon as they saw that armor, you can see that there's a dead body of a Knight of Salamia right there on the ground, and they're coming straight for Calixto.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Quick question. Do these, like, looking at that picture you just showed us, they're so much bigger than a dude that, like, do these even look like a thing we're capable of fighting? Like, look at that fucking...
I would say that you would be remiss to think that you can take them on, and like you can certainly try. Like if you had to fight an alien, how would you fight an alien? If you had to fight a predator, which I guess is technically an alien, but you know which one I mean.
We just gotta flee. We have to get the fuck away from these things.
Yeah, these things want to fucking kill you dead, and this is literal nightmare shit. The thing of horror. So far you've seen a lot of weird shit. You've seen this weird little statue turned to stone. You've seen blood on the ground. You've been to the fucking temple of disheveled god statues. You found a weird ancient sword from a god. You've gone through this weird test of sorcery, met the best mage on the planet. But this is the fucking moment where you're like, oh shit. And you've heard these weird rumors of Kindermore being destroyed, dragons returning, possibly needing a blacksmith in the future and doing things for good. And this is the oh shit moment where it's like, oh fuck. So there we go.
Nightmares come true.
Oh shit.
Literal horror right in front of your eyes.
Okay.
Well, shit, yeah. We're going to have to get the fuck out of there.
Welcome to Dragonlance.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of combat. I mean, who knows? Maybe you guys can escape. I would love that. Some DMs would be like, wait, this is my encounter. You can't run away. And I'm just like, yo, that just means that we'll do stuff. We'll just get to things sooner. Cool.
Awesome. Okay.
Is Jesse's last name Cena Dick?